In the northern forests, value could be counted only after winter had done its work. A pelt taken too early, scraped poorly, or damaged in storage might fail as payment even after the trapper had carried it for weeks. The skin was not valuable by itself. It became a trade unit only when others agreed that its season, handling, and condition met a standard they would recognize. Before coins, before banks, belief ruled the world. Across the woodland territories supplying the trading centers of medieval northern Rus, pelts of squirrel, marten, and sable moved through networks of hunters, collectors, and merchants. These skins served as counted units by which tribute was demanded, debts were recorded, and tools, cloth, or grain could be obtained. Where standardized metal remained scarce inland, prepared fur carried a function later given to coinage. The system worked because the pelt was both object and measure. Trappers worked during the coldest months, when the underfur grew dense, but the hunt did not end when the animal was taken. Each skin had to be stretched, scraped, dried, and preserved well enough to pass inspection somewhere else. Preparation became part of payment itself. Quality was judged by thickness, evenness, color, and the absence of cuts or rips. A damaged skin did not merely lose beauty, it lost capacity to settle an obligation. The value of the pelt depended not only on the animal, but on the chain of handling that followed it. Over time, recognized groupings gave the system structure. A sorochok consisted of 40 squirrel pelts tied as one unit. A kuna referred to a marten skin and became a named measure of value. Sable stood higher on the same scale. These terms allowed delivery or debt to be stated without bargaining over every skin separately. The bundle made exchange faster because judgment had already been compressed into the unit. That compression created the first strain. The number owed could remain fixed while the forest changed. A mild winter, scarce animals, or poor handling could reduce the supply of prime skins, yet tribute or debt recorded in sorochoks and kunas did not automatically fall with the catch. The obligation stayed stable even when the source of payment did not. The unit preserved the claim more reliably than nature preserved the supply. This was not money in a later metallic sense. No ruler had struck a seal into uniform pieces. No mint had guaranteed weight. The unit's authority came from repeated acceptance, from hunters who prepared the skins, collectors who counted them, merchants who moved them, and communities that treated pelt names as measures in accounts. The system held only while each stage trusted the judgment made before it. Distance made that harder. Furs moved along rivers and winter routes, by sled, boat, and pack. They had to survive damp storage, bundling, insects, handling, and delay. A pelt counted in one place could be questioned in another if it stiffened, tore, or lost condition. The unit traveled, but its acceptability traveled less securely. The more hands it passed through, the more opportunities arose for judgment to be reopened. For the person owing the pelts, the system could turn time into a claim. A trapper who had promised prime marten skins to discharge a debt or meet tribute carried that commitment across seasons. If traps yielded fewer usable pelts, or if several were damaged, the shortfall did not disappear. His next winter's labor was partly committed before any new catch could become surplus. Time itself did not reset the claim. Once counted into a bundle, a pelt no longer changed with the living animal or the season that produced it. Its function as a unit of account persisted after the forest moment had passed. This allowed obligations to cross months and distances. It also made defects irreversible. A tear in storage, a stiffened hide, or uneven scraping could not be repaired by returning to the hunt. The token had become fixed, and its defects traveled with it. In the networks around Novgorod, tribute from northern territories arrived in bundled form. Collectors counted sorochoks and examined quality before furs moved onward. The same units measured local exchanges where grain or tools could be priced against stated kunas. The words entered the language of accounts because the object had become a recognized measure, not merely a useful skin. Yet every transfer reopened the question of trust. What one collector accepted as a complete sorochok might be examined again by the next recipient, especially after long transport or changing demand. A bundle could carry established value and still arrive under suspicion. The system did not remove judgment, it postponed it. Through these units, labor in remote trapping grounds could become claims on goods produced elsewhere. A hunter's winter work could become cloth, metal tools, grain, or the settlement of tribute without both parties remaining present. Fur made value portable, divisible by custom, and light relative to its worth. But the same features that made pelts workable also limited them. Quality depended on weather, animal populations, trapping skill, preparation, storage, and transport. A bundle passing through several hands accumulated chances of damage and disagreement. As exchange expanded and authorities sought revenue less dependent on any single season, repeated grading became harder to sustain. The system settled claims while demand remained within trapping capacity and consensus around standards remained strong. Beyond that scale, the burden increased. Payment required not only skins, but prime skins. Accounting required not only numbers, but objects that still met the standard behind those numbers. The more distant the exchange became, the more fragile acceptance became. This was the central limit of fur as a trade unit. It could store value, but only in a material that decayed. It could measure obligation, but only through objects that varied. It could connect distant people, but only by asking each stage to trust preparation, condition, and grading performed earlier. The obligation to deliver prime bundles persisted, even when the forest no longer yielded them. These conditions held the system for generations. They made pelts useful, portable, and socially recognized. Yet they also marked the point beyond which expansion required units less tied to a specific animal, season, journey, and repeated inspection. In the next episode, we will examine how wampum belts turned shell beads into a durable means of recording and transferring obligation. Through them, value could be carried not as perishable skins from a seasonal hunt, but as visible agreement communities could read, preserve, and verify.